Good afternoon. Vasai branch of Western India. We have the August gathering on the dais. Thank you so much for this opportunity. This is the third time that I'm coming to Vasai branch. I think the first time was between the time the model GST law came in and the GST law was actually enacted. The second time was when I spoke on input tax credit, I remember. And this is the third time when I'm speaking on valuation. The first session was brilliant, led by Sanjeev Singhal. And we are seeing where the audit is moving into the 21st century. I wish that some of the departmental officers and the dealers themselves were a part of this conference to know how intricate or how tricky this issue relating to valuation is. Before I forget, I must wish Siddesh here, who is sitting here, he has put in this PPT together. I am just speaking on the PPTs that he has made. Second, wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year beforehand, otherwise I may probably forget at the end of the session. All of us know what valuation is. There's a value for everything, right? There's a value for everything. Your New Year Eve in Sahara Star, there is a value. Your New Year's Eve in Orchid Hotel, there is a value. New Year in Taj, there is a value. An exhibition, entrance fee, there is a value. A book that we buy, there is a value. Anything that we do, there is a value. You go to school, there is a value. Don't go to school, there is a value. You sit at home, there is a value. You do nothing, there is a value to it. When I was sitting there in the first row, I happened to see this brochure that was given by Taxman. I wish somebody from Taxman is here. I happened to see this Taxman brochure. And I just went to the second page to see what a risk it is to give a handout like this. Because on page 2 it says, free email alerts worth rupees 3,000. No, it's not a joke, it's here. Free email alerts worth rupees 3,000. Please look at it. It's there. Page 2, you can look at it. Free daily email alerts worth rupees 3,000. What is the consequence of this, you have to realize when you go to valuation mechanism. I can do two things. If your free email is worth 3,000, I will tell you pay 18%. I have option 1. Option 2, whether this email is only for those of you who have enrolled here or not enrolled here. Option 2. Option 3, whether it is only rupees 3,000 or it is something more than this 3,000, so I will subject you to 2 different tax rates. 4. I don't want tax on your 3,000. I don't want. If under Rule 42 and Rule 43 my reversal is higher, I will take that route. 5. If I am able to do nothing, I will resort to Rule 31, which is reasonable means for estimation. So you know what it is. No software will be able to give you that kind of estimate. One notice, next time you will be all right. Correct? You will be all right. Next year you will be all right. So what is this valuation that we are talking of? I said you stand up or sit down, there is valuation. Stock is subject to valuation, yes or no? There were brilliant slides that were put up here. Now tell me, if I were to tell you to value stock of a trading entity, small trading entity, because we all know we work on GP basis, of a small trading entity which has finished goods, packing material, finished goods, packing material, goods in transit, goods returned, goods rejected, goods damaged, put up a value for it. If you don't, I will subject you to valuation. Now scale up this model to a manufacturing entity. You need to value stock. Opening stock, which consists of raw materials, component parts, inputs, semi-finished goods, finished goods, consumables, etc. etc. It's very easy for you to write a CARO report to say there are no material discrepancies. Discrepancies, if any, have been given appropriate treatment in the financial accounts. I want people like you only. Because I will tell you, I will add back 2%, matter closes. Next 4 years, you won't look at my face. You will only be writing reply to that notice. Right? Valuation doesn't stop there. We have valuation of tangibles, we have valuation of intangibles. Now, what is valuation of a tangible? Valuation of an intangible. We have both. Tangibles is a raw materials, component parts, finished goods, etc., packing material, all of it which you can touch, feel or see. There are so many other things which happen to which you cannot put a value because it is not a tangible. They become intangibles, like free email alerts. Somebody is given at 3,000 per year, somebody will be given only email alerts at 15,000 per year. Taxman will sell 15,000 email alerts per annum. So I don't want tax on 3,000, I want tax on 15,000. I don't want your tax on 3,000. No, I will value it. Then I will see who will succeed. 5 years you fight, 6th year you will be all right. Right? So we have value on everything. We have valuation of stock transfers at cost. Correct? You do a valuation at cost. Now who is determining this cost? Who is determining this cost? Whether you include salaries, whether you include salaries at 50% if it is semi-finished goods, whether you include salaries, wages, duties, taxes, don't include direct expense, don't include indirect expense, choice is yours. You put up a policy. I want people like you only. One valuation I will do when I come for DRI. Next time you will be all right. Correct? So we have valuation of stock transfers. It's not easy. Don't say cost plus 10% under Rule 28. I won't allow you to go at cost plus 10%. I will subject you to valuation. I'll subject you to valuation. It's a very painful process that you will undergo. Very, very painful process. Right? We have warranties. How do you value warranty? You have a trader in Thane who sells Samsung TVs, who sells Samsung mobiles, who sells, I don't know, mixers, grinders, washing machines, whatever. You have carry-in warranty, you have pre-sale warranty, you have post-sale warranty, you have warranty in the guise of AMC, you have per call basis you will have warranties where parts are free, you have no parts, only payment for service charges kind of, which are technically repairs but they are not. How do you value it? How do you value warranty replacements? Is it at cost, cost plus, selling price, declared value, tariff, distributor price, MRP, dealer value, manufacturer? We won't survive if we are going to get one notice from the commissioner. Valuation for e-way bill purposes. ठीक है यार 1 लाख डाल दो बाद में देखेंगे. Goods पहले जाना है 1 लाख डालो जाएगा बाद में देखेंगे. So my point is, how did you value it at 1 lakh? How did you value? The question is not you valued at 1 lakh. How did you value it at 1 lakh? I want that process that I will adopt for all other valuation purposes. Right? So be careful. Don't put a number on your e-way bills. Valuation for the purpose of raising tax invoices. 4 different tax invoices will have 4 different values. Let me give you one example. Room number 101, Taj Residency, Mumbai, 6,500 rupees per night. Yes or no? Room number 102, same day, same time check-in, 7,000 rupees. Room number 103, same day, same time, overlooking swimming pool, call it by whatever name, same time check-in, same time check-out, 4,000 rupees. It's possible. Because my chairman Lohit would have booked for 100 room nights, so he will get at 4,000. You won't get at 4,000. Somebody else will get at 4,500. 5. Vasai branch will get 100 room nights you pay, 6 room nights complimentary. So what value should I take? At the value given to you, value given at 6,500, value given at 7,000, value given at 12,500, somebody will land in Mumbai without a room when there is a strike in Mumbai, you will even give it at 12,000 rupees on that day. Shall I take that value? So valuation becomes a very painful process, becomes an extremely painful process. So when you value for invoice, you have to be careful of the methodology you adopt for the purpose of raising tax invoices. Valuation in respect of movement of goods to a job worker. At cost, below cost, lump sum value, because they are semi-finished goods. Lump sum value or cost of goods sold. You arrive at the costing, then apply it, raw material cost, ad hoc value, percentage of selling price, cost plus a percentage. You have all these methods. All of this will be subject to valuation. Somebody here can turn around and tell me, how does a job worker become a related party? Because valuation will arise only when you reject my transaction value. Somehow this job worker is never appealing to me. I have never believed in this business. Because the principal controls the job worker, the principal controls the machinery, the principal controls the price, the principal controls the procurement of raw material, the principal controls the time at which he will pay, the principal determines the labor price, the principal determines the nature of supply, the principal determines the quantum of supply, the principal is involved in design, the principal is involved in giving him molds, the principal is involved in giving him finance because he will be the guarantor for that fellow's machine, the principal gives him dies, jigs, tools, fixtures, molds, etc. How can you say he is not a related person? How can you say he is not a related person? The principal controls his business indirectly. If he says, I don't want supply on Monday, he has to shut down his machine. There is no choice. No choice. So given this situation, can you say a job worker is not a related party? I will reject that transaction value. Some consultants may be here who will say, no, how can job worker be a related party? Under old excise law, we had Ujagar Prince case, etc. Ujagar was 1940 judgment. I will give you a notice, 5 years you fight, 6th year let us see what happens. So when I run you through this valuation process, you will know how difficult it is in respect of job worker. Valuation of samples. Don't think I will reverse input tax credit under 17.5 and let you go. I won't let you go. I will take one of the 4 mechanisms which is beneficial to revenue. I will value sample at selling price and say pay output tax, take full input tax. Option 1. Option 2. I will tell you, I want you to write a report and give it to me whether these are samples, whether this is a business promotion, whether this is entertainment disguised, or whether this is marketing expenses disguised as samples, and therefore you want to get away from the valuation provision. You give me a note and satisfy EY team, let us see how they do it. It's not possible. It's extremely difficult. All this that I was talking of is goods. How do we value services? How do we value services? Partner EY who was speaking here is 1 lakh per hour. Central Council member Kandelwal is 60,000 per hour. Will you and I get 60,000? We won't even get 500 rupees. How do you value services? You can't value. On-call basis. You call Samsung authorized dealer for on-call, he will tell you 1,500 rupees visit charge. You call Urban Clap, he will tell you 250 rupees. You call a local mechanic who is fixing Samsung phones, he will tell you, leke aa jao, 50 rupees mein karunga. So valuation of service is an extremely tedious process. Can you value service? The answer is yes. But is there a mechanism? The answer is no. You will have to find ways and means of valuation, because when we value services, please keep that in mind. Valuation of business for the purpose of transfer. You will say that method, this method, 9x method, 3x method, startup, 5x revenue, 4x expenditure, project for 5 years into 5 times, all of this you will do. First of all, I want to find out whether there is a value of, there is a business transfer. If there is a business transfer, whether there is any undervaluation, then I will give you notice under 74 that there is undervaluation. You also fight that case for 5 years. We will see later, right? Revaluation or valuation of plant and machinery. We revalue plant, we revalue machinery, right? Not just land and buildings. Land and buildings you will say is immovable property, but I will tax you. Be careful. If it is revaluation of land and building, also I will tax you, and I will tell you where I will tax you. Please look at second proviso, explanation 1 to 4th proviso to 3/2019 notification. You will get stuck with valuation of land and buildings. In my view, it is taxable, right? So, valuation of plant and machinery, be careful of your valuation mechanisms and methods. Can you put a value on your employee? Can you put a value on an employee? Why do you take an office boy at 8,000 rupees? Why do you take an engineer who has 5 years experience at 15,000? Somebody who is a managing director at 3 lakhs, a director on the board at 2 lakhs, an independent director at only sitting fee plus nothing else? How do you put a value to this? Because you will need to arrive at the valuation mechanism in respect of some service transfers. You will see. Please keep thinking about this. Valuation of contracts. How do we value contracts? Completed contract method, percentage of completion method. Both these methods are not acceptable to me. They may be acceptable to you under your ICAI guidelines. I am not bound by ICAI guidelines when I issue a valuation notice to you. I will say I will go by milestone. I will say when you lay the foundation, 50% of the work is over. Therefore, 50% of input tax credit you have to reverse in respect of construction contracts. I will tell you that. Then we will see what happens. Transactions relating to valuation of related parties. Then valuation of currency. Companies hold currency. How do we value? Whether it is your RBI rate, date of procurement rate, cost or realizable value, whichever it is, date of signing, 31st March, what date? Because difference will be subject to tax. Valuation of securities. I will take 30% of its value and subject you to tax. So these are some of the examples of valuation that I gave you. Before I go into what this entire valuation mechanism is, I just took 15 examples to tell you how life in GST will be very difficult. No robotic action plan will work. Your mind has to work, that's all. No RPA will work in all these cases, right? It won't. When a man gives you notice, you have to be alert 4 years before what happened. So none of this, what we saw here in your audit techniques will work so far as the department is concerned. It's a different animal. We'll have to handle it differently. Next. What is consideration? The entire section 15 hinges on the premise that you will not be subject to valuation. Please be careful. You will not be subject to valuation if you have paid tax on the transaction value, money is the sole consideration, and the transaction is between unrelated parties. So it must be a transaction value. Two unrelated parties must get into a business transaction. Money must be the consideration. If consideration is anything other than money, you will get into difficulty. So we will see what are the examples, how we can get into difficulty. So consideration is a quid pro quo. What is a quid pro quo? It is something for something. It is a favor for favor. Give me 100 rupees, I will give you this Tissot watch. Give me 80 rupees, I will give you my spectacles. Give me 5,000 rupees, I will give you this podium. So it is a quid pro quo. It is something for something. It is a favor for favor, which is measured in monetary terms. So consideration is something which is a quid pro quo in monetary terms. Anything which is non-monetary or does not have a cash component, you will be subject to valuation. What is cash? Cash is money. Cash is Indian legal tender. It includes foreign exchange. It includes foreign exchange. It includes foreign currency. It includes checks, drafts, hundis, etc. It includes all of it. It's defined under 2 subsection 75. Right? So consideration is quid pro quo. If you have to defend yourself from valuation, then you have to defend yourself that there are no controlled conditions in your business. Now, what is a controlled condition in your business? Consider this case. Buy 5 kg Annapurna Atta, half kg free of Tata Salt, or half kg at 40 rupees. So, you are controlling product A with product B. Therefore, it is consideration under controlled conditions. I will subject you to valuation. I will subject you to valuation. Pay before 25th of this month, you get 30% discount. That is what that brochure says. So the supply is under controlled condition. You will get subjected to valuation. You will get subjected to valuation. You will get 3,000 email alerts per annum for 15,000. It is controlled condition. You are controlling, because if you don't get 3,000 email alerts, you will ask him for further discount, or you will ask him for credit note. So it is pricing under controlled conditions. Take a third case. Buy 1 liter of Tropicana orange juice, you will get a plastic mug free. It is pricing under controlled conditions. Don't go to mixed supply and composite supply. It is pricing under controlled conditions. Whether it is mixed or composite comes later. Whether the supply is controlled by some condition is what you will have to see. If it is controlled by some condition, then you will get subjected to valuation mechanism. No harm in getting through a valuation mechanism. You have to just defend your price. As simple as that. You have to defend it. So these are under controlled conditions. Consideration is what is expressed in monetary terms. Consideration is what is expressed in monetary terms. Employee A moves for an exhibition to city B, which is Bangalore, for 1 week. For 1 week. There is an exhibition in Bangalore International Exhibition Center. Employee A moves from Mumbai to Bangalore. For what purpose? For business purpose. Whether there is a valuation involved here, the answer can be yes, the answer can be no. It can be both. If the supply emanates from Bangalore, Bangalore will tell you, transfer the cost to Karnataka. Transfer the cost to Karnataka. We will see how the valuation mechanism works in that situation. What is the difference between value and a price? What is the difference between a value and a price? The value of this ring may be 1 lakh, but its price is only 60,000. I am putting its value at 1 lakh because this is 45 years old. It was done by C. Krishna Chetty in its 50th year. Therefore, I want to put its value at 1 lakh. Its price may be only 60,000. The value of a vintage car in Mumbai is 1 crore, but its price is only 40 lakhs. Its value is 1 crore, but nobody will pay 1 crore, but its price is 40 lakhs. You will say the value of a flat in Worli Seaface is 5 crores, but the selling price can only be 4 crores. So value is different from price. Value is what I will subject you through law. Price is what a transaction concludes. So you have to go through a valuation mechanism to ensure that the price on which you have paid tax is correct and complete under law. So what is consideration? Consideration is the price payable by the recipient to the supplier. Price paid by the recipient to the supplier for supply of goods and or services. Now you will see how this consideration is going to be turned and twisted in the valuation provisions. What is consideration in value terms vis-a-vis monetary terms? What is consideration in value terms vis-a-vis monetary terms? Consideration in value terms vis-a-vis monetary terms. Stock is valued at cost or realizable value, whichever is lower. Agreed? Not agreed? Agreed, correct? I am a Sony camera supplier, trader rather. I have tripod stands of Sony which were purchased 5 years back, 7 years back, model change. We reduce the value of stock, right? We reduce the value at what? Cost or realizable value, whichever is lower. But it is possible some bakra like me will come after 5 years. Sir, I want that tripod stand. Arey mil gaya bakra, lagao isko, 10,000, take it or leave it. Yes or no? You will sell it or no? So what is consideration? What is valuation? What is price? I will take the price at which you have sold as the price of stock that you hold if I am going to take it for estimation purposes. Your standard auditing practices will tell you cost or realizable value, it will tell you do ABC analysis, it will say every year reduce 10%, 20%, 40%, no percent here. You come to me, I will tell you what value. Otherwise, I will make you run some 20 times, you will become all right. Correct? So you have to be careful. Consideration is different from what is monetary. Therefore, what is transaction value? Can we conclude that transaction value is the value at which the supplier and the recipient exchange money? Yes or no? In one voice. Yes or no? Yes. Suppose I tell you I will pay after 10 months. Will you give it to me at same price? Then how can you say transaction value is the price at which we exchange money? So what I will do, if you tell me one which is on installment scheme payable after 10 months, right? 10 months is 50,000 rupees. That means price is 35,000. 15,000, call it interest, call it premium, call it by whatever name. Call it by any name, whatever you want. Another man I sell at 35 because he pays me after 15 days. Should I discount that 15 days for the purpose of arriving at this supply after 10 months? I will do it. Don't say no, I will do. 5 years you fight in appeal. We will see. So this valuation is the single largest litigation that we are going to have. Over the next 5 years, you will see how difficult it is going to be to handle the valuation mechanism. Siddesh, can we go to the next? Now look at this, how the law is coming at us. The law is an ass. You go in front of it, it will bite, go behind it, it will kick. Section 15 subsection. No, it's the truth. Huh? That's the truth. It's the real truth. Right? The law says the value of a supply of goods shall be the transaction value. Why do you charge 15,000 per hour when you do Tata audit? Why do you charge 12,000 per hour, same manager, same qualification, same issue, same company law, same audit when you bill Godrej? Who are you to decide? I will decide. You are nobody to decide. Exactly. So what I will decide, whether I have to value you at 15,000 or I should not value you at 15,000. Consider this case. I will tell you how you will get into difficulty. Tata will not give you transport. Godrej will give you transport. Tata will not give you lunch allowance. Godrej will give you lunch allowance. Can you justify your valuation now between 15,000 and 12,000? If there is a difference, you are willing for addition, number of article clerks into number of hours, are you willing for an addition? No, this is just an example of how you can get into trouble insofar as valuation is concerned. So it says transaction value, which is the price actually paid. Actually paid. Tata actually pays 15,000. Godrej actually pays 12,000 for 1 hour of your audit manager. Agreed? So I will tell you, on a given day, give me 8 hours. Will you be able to give me 8 hours? Because you would have billed only 6 or you would have billed 12. Now the department says, the transaction value in those cases will become questionable. I have given you the simplest case of chartered accountant, the most simple case of a chartered accountant. Consider the complexity of transactions as we go along. We will take some of those examples. Where the supplier and the recipient are not related. Supplier and the recipient should not be related. Tata is not related to you. Godrej is not related to you. Supplier and recipient is not related. Tata pays 15,000 per hour. Godrej pays 12,000 per hour. Tata gives you food and conveyance. Godrej doesn't give you food and conveyance. They are two unrelated parties. Therefore, transaction value will be the price that is actually paid. But you have to substantiate. So I will put you through a valuation process. Go through the valuation. Nothing may happen. Your 12,000 and 15,000 may hold fort. But you have to go through this painful process of 25 numbers of sample size in a year. In your case, it may be easy. Consider in Tata Steel's case, how difficult it will be for him to prove the valuation. The price is the sole consideration. Price should be the sole consideration. Now, go back to all my examples that I told you. Room number 103, 6,500. Room number 104, 7,000. Room number 105, my chairman has booked, therefore 4,000. He books for 100 nights. No difficulty. Go through the valuation mechanism. You go on preparing your defense. You have to prove, Vasai branch told me it will give me 100 room nights, therefore I gave them at a discounted price. If the same room has got 200% occupancy on the same day, for example, I have checked out at 7 o'clock in the morning, Vasai branch may put up tomorrow's speaker in the same room for today, 200% occupancy. I will tell that hotel, give me the valuation. Let me see how it works. Let me see how it works. Correct? Now, whether that will be the transaction value or whether that will not be the transaction value, whether price is the sole consideration, 1 year warranty included, price is not the sole consideration. There is something more you are giving him. Buy a Usha ceiling fan, I will come and fix it in your house free of cost. Price is not the consideration. It is because I am coming and fixing it in your house. There is something more to it. If I sell only a fan, will you give me that much lower? If I tell you come and fix it, will you charge me only conveyance or will you charge me 200 rupees more? Price is not the sole consideration. The consideration also includes installation. It also includes installation. I will charge you 12% for fan, 18% for service on an estimated basis. So I will bisect the entire consideration into two parts, one tangible, the other intangible, depending on what rate of tax I want. What rate of tax I want. Consider a second case. Warranty along with the sale price. Samsung will give you warranty of 1 year. Along with the selling price, 32,000 rupees, 32-inch television, 1 year warranty. No difficulty. Subjected to tax at the rate of 18%, no difficulty, life is over. But if I tell you 17,500 but carry in warranty, you bring your TV, I will repair. I will subject both transactions to valuation. I will subject both to valuation. If you have sold something without warranty for 19,000, let's say you have sold, one bakra like me, I don't even know there is warranty, 19,000. I will put all the three transactions through valuation mechanism to find out how much addition that I will need in all of these cases. Therefore, what is important when you invoice? See, there's something wrong with it. What is important when you invoice? When you invoice, you need to be careful of what is the description that you are giving there. If you say 50,000 rupees Samsung TV 42 inches plus 2 free services or 2 inspections or installation free, I will put you through a valuation mechanism. So what you are describing in your invoice, in your purchase order, in your waybill, in your delivery challan, in your delivery slip, in your understanding with the client, in your terms of supply or terms of sale, is a subject matter of valuation under the goods and service tax law. Therefore, what should we be careful of? We should be careful of what price what invoice value, what credit in all these examples that I have talked of, what is it that I am declaring to party A, party B, party C? Because one room is at 6,500, the other is at 7,000, the third one is at 4,000. What is the difference? In fact, it can get much more complicated if I add 2 or 3 spins to it. I'll tell you, room includes Wi-Fi free, room includes airport drop, room includes one breakfast, room includes breakfast and dinner, room includes only lunch and breakfast, room includes none of these 3. You are finished. You are finished. I will tell you to add back the value of a meal, which is the declared tariff, into number of rooms, number of occupants, number of years, pay tax at 5% if it is food, 18% if it is room tariff, 28% for some time if it was in that 7,500 bracket. Next time you will be all right. Now, next slide. Who are related parties? Related party under income tax law is different from related party under Companies Act is different from related party under the Goods and Service Tax law. They're completely different. You may have lineal ascendant or descendant under income tax law, I'm not sure, whatever that definition is, or under Companies Act. Nothing like lineal ascendant or descendant here. But look at how the valuation, the related party is defined under section 25, explanation. It says officers or directors of one another's businesses. That means if you are doing an audit of a group of entities where there are common directors, 100% valuation. You will be you will be put to valuation mechanism. You have to come out of it. You have to come out of it. That there are no inter-firm services, that there are no inter-firm supplies, that there are no inter-firm transactions, that there are no inter-firm intangibles that are exchanged. I will tell you how it will work, right? So you have to be careful. If one officer is a director and another, CFO, company A will promote another new company or incorporate company B, where CFO will be the subscriber or founder, first director of the company. 2 months later, you will change his name. They become related parties under Goods and Service Tax law. Please be careful. I will put you through a valuation mechanism. Then it becomes extremely painful. Legally recognized partners in business. There need not be anything in law. If we have an understanding in respect of share of profit, we become legally recognized partners under the Goods and Service Tax law. Because a contract can be oral, implied, or written. It can be either way. If I tell you 3% of sales you will get, I won't treat you as principal agent. I will tell you legally recognized partner. There are 2 supplies. There are 2 supplies. One from principal to agent and the second from agent to the end customer. Employer, employee, they are related parties. What about contract employee? Mumbai is full of contract employees. Do they become employees? Yes, no. What happens if contract employee dies? Who will be responsible? Contract employee dies. Whether it will be the principal who has engaged the contract employee who will be responsible, or whether it is the company or entity for which he works will be responsible. It depends on the terms of your agreement. Depends on the term. If the privity of agreement is between employee and the company, you are related parties. You can't say he is a contract employee. No, you can't say. Look at your PF law. It still makes the company responsible if the contractor does not pay. Why should I not say a contract employee is as much an employee of the company? These are greenfield laws, not yet tested. I will test it through you. I will first test it through you, then let us see, right? Any person who directly or indirectly owns 25% or more, no difficulty in understanding this. One of them directly or indirectly controls the other. That is why I said the principal and a job worker. You control that fellow fully, not even indirectly. Directly you control that man. So why should I not treat principal and a job worker as a related party? Both indirectly control the third company. That means if you have a common director in 3 entities, one directly or indirectly controls all the 3 will become related party. All of them will be subject to valuation process. Members of the same family. Now what is a family? wife's brother, family? Yes? Don't tell me income tax law. Huh? Husband, sister? Difficult for you to accept. Huh? Difficult. Correct? Both of you are related parties. Both of you are related parties under GST law. Be careful. Don't make your brother-in-law, sister-in-law partners. You will go through valuation mechanism. Next. For the purpose of valuation, the law says these three: taxes, incidental expenses, interest, you have to add back. That means taxes, duties and levies under allied laws. Under allied laws, APMC says, Kerala flood relief says, it has a separate specific exemption, but otherwise you have to add back those taxes. Just go back to earlier VAT law. Cost of sale plus excise duty, on that you charge VAT, right? So same way here, tax under other laws, you have to add back for the purpose of levy of goods and service tax. Incidental expenses, all of it to added back, all of it to be added back. Insurance to be paid by the customer, FOR, free on road, delivery at site, omnibus insurance for transit, where the recipient himself has taken an omnibus insurance, all of that will get added to the supply. So don't think that my purchase order is telling me it is FOR. I will just put it on the truck, he will pay the freight or he will pay the transportation charges. No, you have to add back and pay your taxes as if it is a supply. As if it is a supply. Interest. Now interest has a number of components. If I turn the invoice, some of them will say, if you pay within 2 weeks, pay the price on the invoice. If you pay after 2 weeks, add 1% extra to it. If that is the condition, you will be paying tax on interest. You have to pay tax on interest because it's a specific condition for the purpose of valuation. However, if your product is an EMI, on an EMI basis, the moment you sell, you convert that to a loan, and on that loan you pay cost plus an interest. That interest will not be a subject matter of levy, right? So please be careful. Your transit insurance, cartage coolie, hamali, loading, unloading, charity, interest, FOR, transportation, per kilometer basis, per ton basis, per truck basis, commodity wise, per person basis, all of that will get added to valuation. Next. Consider this valuation provision 15.2. This entire section 15 is one section which controls the entire goods and service tax law so far as valuation is concerned. It is one single section. It is less than half a page, but it's creating such a nuisance. We will have to see how much trouble it creates when we finish the session, right? Section 15, subsection 2. Value of goods supplied by customers should be included in taxable value of goods supplied in a goods and service tax regime. I will give you two examples. Value of goods supplied by the customer should be included in the taxable value. Old gold. Let's say madam who is sitting here, no gender bias. You go to a jeweler, tell him this is my old gold. He will tell you this is 30 grams. He will say it has so much dirt, it is so much making charge, it is old, it is only 90 carat, this is not even 99 carat. Ultimately, he'll give some 5,000 rupees. Right? You buy new gold from him. You have to go through a valuation mechanism. Are our books of accounts prepared in a manner which is ready for valuation? It is not. So we have to settle with that man. Right? So we have to be extremely careful on valuation. Consider a second case. 40 grams old gold, 40 grams new gold. Yes or no? Plus making charge, plus this, etc., etc. Old gold, according to you, will be 45 grams. But he will tell you it is only 40 grams because it is dust, it is wastage, it is that, it is this, it is filled with oil, it has got stones which have zero value, right? He will tell you all of this. But for valuation, I will consider 45. I'll consider 45 for valuation. Does your books of account give me this data or detail? I will send you a simple notice for estimation of valuation in respect of old gold. Add back 20% to the declared turnover, pay tax at 3%. Next 5 years you will be in appeal. You will never recover from that shock. You won't recover because your books don't give you those data and details. It doesn't give you. So that is example number 1. Example number 2. Example number 2. Exchange of old television, if it is less than 1 year, 1,500 rupees. If you give me the original invoice of what you have purchased, I will discount 3,000 rupees. If you don't have any of this, I will give you 500 rupees. Although with that serial number, I can track down the dealer who has sold. But this is my scheme. Hota hai na? Diwali sale, New Year sale, Christmas sale, that sale, this sale. All cases are valuation. All are valuation cases. All are valuation. Now in each of these cases, I will determine whether the repurchase price is the right price or the wrong price. All I need is 2 different cases or 5 different transactions where I have 5 different methods. Then you are stuck. Just as income tax officer says, no, I asked for 2 bills, he didn't give both, therefore it is fit to estimate 10% of labor charges. 2 bill pucha, 2 bhi nahi diya, so add back 10% of labor charges. Same case here. I will ask you for 50 invoices. If you are not able to give me 50 of those, I will add back 50% of turnover. Next year you will see. You will come back to me again. You will come and meet me in the department. Right? Now, this is the difficulty of valuation. Consider a third case. Consider a third case. Supply of steel, supply of cement by builders to contractors. They are terms of your purchase order, right? But your tender will tell you 4,000 rupees per square foot. Yes or no? It will tell you construction cost is 4,000. Right? Just assume it's 4,000 construction cost, which includes steel, which includes cement. Then what the builder does? He says, out of this 4,000, cement and steel is 1,200 rupees, which I will supply free. So you say 2,800 rupees is what you have to invoice me per square foot. You are a fit case for valuation. Fit case for valuation. It says, where the recipient supplies goods, I will value your transaction price. I want tax on 4,000. I don't want tax on 2,800. Because your cement price and steel price can go up. It can actually go to 4,100. Right? So I want tax on 4,100. I don't want tax on 2,800. Therefore, I will put you through a mechanism of valuation. Consider this case. Hindustan Unilever says, you buy 100 5 kg packets of atta, right? Annapurna atta, I will give you 2 free. Or I will give you 102. You buy 100, I will give you 102. What price? Same price of 1,000 rupees. Same price of 1,000. You buy 50, nothing is free. You have to give me 510. So you go through a process of valuation there. You go through a process of valuation. So anything which is not a price paid, ultimately for 50, that may be the price. But you have to go through the pain of convincing the department that there is no valuation issue that arises here. Importantly, second party manufacturers, third party manufacturers, 2P manufacturers and 3P manufacturers. Who are 2Ps? 2Ps are merely packers, where the original goods come from the manufacturer, they just pack it, packing material is used, send it out. 3P manufacturers are one part of the raw material is also added by them in the process of manufacture. All of them will be a subject matter of valuation under goods and service tax law. Next. There are 2 clarifications here in respect of job workers. Please look at this, look at your accounting and how you do your accounting. If the manufacturer gives you the dials, dies, jigs, tools, molds, fixtures, fittings, etc., 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 and the price is so adjusted, your labor charges is so adjusted that it includes the price. You go through a valuation mechanism, add back the differential, pay tax on the full value. However, if you don't have that mechanism, but you amortize the tools, jigs, dies, fixtures, and I find that entry in your books amortized over a period of 3 years, 1/3 in year 1, 1/3 in year 2, 1/3 in year 3, I will put you through a valuation mechanism. I want that tax from the job worker on the job work price because his rate is 18, your output tax on goods is only 12. Therefore, I will put you through a valuation mechanism. Please be careful. There are two clarifications that are given by the government here. In the part 1, that is what is there in bold, you will find shall not be added, whereas in the latter part he will tell you it has to be added. Be careful, these are valuation issues. Next. I have never seen lack of application of mind beyond this. Either the government has lost its sense of balance, or somebody writing there does not know the business. It's only one of the two, because the previous speaker also said, know your business. Either they don't know the business, or they have lost their sense of balance. Look at what they are telling you here. Servicing of cars involving supply of goods and labor. He says, taxability of supply would have to be determined on case-to-case basis. Sir, what do? You go leave your car in Hyundai showroom, right? Authorized service center. Normal service happens. He will change air filter, he will change this, he will change spark plug, he will change something else, he will add oil, he will not add oil. He will give you a bill for 12,000 rupees end of the day, of which he will tell you parts are 6,000, labor is 6,000, just a number. Government says, on 6,000 you pay me tax at 28%, on the balance 6,000 which is labor, pay me tax at 18%. Agreed. Agreed. I will pay. Agreed, I'll pay. Will you do that for AMC? Why not? That is also repair. Why not? Why are you not agreeing? Simply because you get the money in advance, you want to change it, is it? Huh? Oh, so for servicing of my car, if I pay money in advance, swipe my card and come out, then my rate of tax will be different. What is wrong with this government? Something is wrong. Now consider a second case. What will a watch repairer do? He will service, he will put one oil, he will lubricate, he will give back, he will tell you 250. How much oil has he used? Can you tell me? You don't even know. You don't even know. In that case, what will happen here? What is the tax on parts and what is the tax on service? Can you say dominant intention theory has come back into the goods and service tax law by virtue of this clarification? If the dominant intention is to transfer parts, consider your car. There may not be change of part at all. भैया ये start नहीं हो रहा है, देखो यार क्या हो गया? Nothing, some wire would have got stuck, some soldering would have gone, he'll just fix it and give you, he'll tell you 1,500 rupees. How will you charge for goods? How will you charge for service? It is impossible. Therefore, I think this government doesn't know how to handle these cases. Next. Section 15, subsection 3 says, any discount given by the supplier, please be careful, any discount given by the supplier must be accounted by the recipient. Corresponding entries must be found in the books of accounts of both the entities. How can you prove it to me that your recipient has accounted your credit note? How can you prove? You will give me ledger account balance, right? Correct? You will give me a confirmation balance. But this law goes further. It says the person receiving this must also reverse the tax. How can you give this? How can you get a confirmation letter from a recipient saying he has reversed the tax and accounted in the return for whichever month? If you can't give me that proof, discount will not be allowed as deduction. And this discount is a nightmare for me. For me, it is a nightmare. If you say discount, I will get admitted in the hospital. Now I will tell you what is happening in the market. Right? I have discount on the face of the invoice. No difficulty? No difficulty, right? Now I will tell you what are the complications in discount. I have prompt payment discount. You pay me within 30 days, pay me 2% less. Yes? Yes or no? I have, what is that discount? Is it price discount or quantity discount? So it is cash discount. Pehle invoice mein kitne, what is the tax that you levied? On 100 rupees? Because you don't know when he is paying. So you will issue credit note? Yes or no? On credit note you will reverse tax. How do you know your recipient has reversed the tax? How do you know? एक ही transaction है, हो गया. Now this provision will come into the way. It says your recipient must reverse the tax. By the time you get proof from all your dealers, either you are finished or others are finished. Right? So you have rate discount, quantity discount, by 100 for X price, by 200 for X plus 25%. Yes or no? So we have price discount, quantity discount, value discount, time discount, area discount, area, correct? We have area discount. Then we have discounts related to targets in quantity, targets in value. We have seasonal discount, we have New Year discount, we have $1 billion day discount, correct? Yes or no? We have discount like how taxman is giving 30% if you book today, 3,000 email worth of email free, right? He's saying straight on the face, he's saying discounted price on MRP. So discounted price on MRP, discounted price on selling price, discounted price on base value. I have seasonal discount, I have dealer discount, I have discounts in the nature of marketing. One Hong Kong trip free, one Singapore trip free. Yes or no? You go and come, right? So is it discount or is it marketing? If it is marketing, pay 18. If it is discount, reverse input tax. Both are not allowed. Both are not allowed. Then you have rate difference, you have rate difference, you have price difference, you have price fluctuations, increase in price, decrease in price, one-time write-off, price difference from one particular point in time. All of this will entail credit or debit notes, right? All of this. Now consider fourth. Discount in the nature of samples, correct? So what Unilever will do? Clinic shampoo, 1000 sachets of 5 gram each, plus 10 extra. Is that sample? Is that business promotion? Is that quantity discount? Or is that rate discount that you can subsequently sell it? Or will it be like pharma, physician sample not meant for sale? So whether it is business promotion, whether it is entertainment, whether it is free supply, whether it is discount, please tell me where will you account this? Well, it may be advertisement for all you know. It may be selling and marketing expenses. It can be selling and distribution expenses. It can be discount. It can be free sample. It can be anything. So what is the distinction between sample, business promotion, discount? Because it can be quantity discount, it can be sample, or it can be business promotion. Go to Raheja Mall in Mumbai. He will give you 1 glass of juice free. Yes or no? He'll say, please drink, and he will tell you buy 1 liter, right? Is it business promotion or is it sample? Or is it entertainment? If he gives you Devers, it is entertainment, right? But if he gives you Tropicana juice, then it is business promotion, or what is it? What is it? Is it sample? Is it business promotion? Your newspaper boy will pin, right? One, let us say, shampoo sachet and deliver it to you. It is business promotion, selling and distribution expenses, discount or marketing. What is it? Where are you booking it in your books of account? If it is discount, I will tell you, tell the recipient to reverse. You are a consumer, B2C, be careful. So I will subject you through valuation. I will say, I don't want input tax reversal. I want tax on estimated selling price. If you are saying, I am going to give it in Raheja Mall there, then I will tell you that these are samples you have given reverse input tax credit. By the time you work out, your head will grow much grayer than what I have here. Third, if you say that these are samples like physician's sample not meant for sale, then I will tell you, prove it that you have not sold. Because the Unilever, what he gives, 100 plus 5, the retailer sells. Yes or no? He sells. So why should I not charge tax on outward supply price of the so-called credit note that you have given? You will agree? So you will accept addition if I am the commissioner? Yes, sir? My total tax is about 7,000 crores in 1 year on this one single transaction. Please be careful. So you have to be very careful. You go to Manyavar in Mumbai. If anybody is representing Manyavar here, I have no offense meant, but I know the scheme. You go to Manyavar, you buy bridegroom, right? Bridegroom kurta pajama, duty free. Seriously, I'm telling you, I'm very serious when I'm making this statement. Shoes are taxable at 18%, apparel is taxable at 5%. I will put you through valuation and make you pay 18% as if it is a mixed supply. Correct? Now you decide what you want to do. Then she will come and argue with me saying, no, that shoe is also made of cotton. Yes, I am not joking. I'm very serious when I'm making this statement. There are cotton shoes. Correct? There are, which he sells. I will tell you, show me how much cloth you have purchased, because his manufacture happens in Kolkata. With the shoe cloth that you have purchased for shoe manufacture, how many shoes you have manufactured, what is your stock? Difference I will say is mixed supply, add back to apparel. You will not recover from this shock. Entire last 10 years of Manyavar's profit will go off in one estimation. It will go. Consider the next case. I will take you to Singapore if you buy 30 television sets from me. Yes or no? Dealer deals happen? Dealer deals happen, right? If you don't go, I will give you credit note for 1 lakh. Yes or no? You don't go to Singapore, I will give you 1 lakh. Yes or no? These happen, right? In case of cement, those of you who deal with cement, those of you who deal with tires, those of you who deal with FMCG, these are standard business practices of the OE. I'll give you case 2. If you don't go, you have an option of getting 1 lakh or 2 television sets. What do you want to do? I will subject all the 3 transactions to valuation. First, I will see whether Singapore trip is commensurate with 1 lakh and whether 1 lakh is commensurate with 2 television sets that I am giving you. I will take the highest and add back. Now, what do? In many of these cases, we reduce the purchase price or the inward supply price. Go back to your office and think whether that is the correct entry that you are passing under law. Please go back and think. I will not tell you whether it is right or whether it is wrong. Incentives, depending on your gross profit margin, you take it to above the line or below the line. Correct? Depending on your gross profit. So there is no application of mind here or rule of law. I will subject both to valuation. You have price protection schemes given in case of FMCG goods. iPhone 9. Apple says, when I come with iPhone 10, for all iPhone 9s, I will give you 5,000 rupees. Yes or no? All these price protection schemes are taxable schemes. They are all running through credit notes. There is one more circular which came from the Goods and Service Tax TRU, which said there is something called financial credit note. I fell down from my chair. First of all, this credit note confuses me. On top of that, there was a clarification which came, it is financial credit note. Arre, what is this financial credit note? It must either be related to purchase or it must relate to sale. There can be no other note. There is only this note, no other note. What is financial credit note? These are all new connotations started by some big firms. So I won't even tell you who they are. Huh? So what, can you please tell me what is financial credit note? Because you can't prove whether dealers are going to reverse tax or not, you are calling it is financial credit note, right? Will you reduce your supply price when you give this financial credit note? No, you take it below the line because you want to maintain your gross profit, right? Otherwise, ITO will not leave you. Your problem is 30% tax there. That is not a problem at all insofar as I am concerned, because I will subject you through valuation. 2 years later, Asian Paints will become all right. I will make you go through one valuation mechanism. Next, you will be all right. Next. Next. Now we have what is called as if discount is not enough. We have primary discount, secondary discount, tertiary discount. Seriously, I am telling you, I have seen tertiary discounts. I am not joking at all. I am dead serious. A company in Kerala issues what is called as tertiary discounts. Can you tell me out of common sense what tertiary discount is? Then I will tell you what it is. Primary discount, you know, on the face of the invoice. Secondary discount is what? Meet your target, 100 numbers, 1 lakh pieces, 1 crore in value, all of it. Can you tell me what is tertiary discount? Tertiary discount is you are eligible for one India tour for 15 days. If you become a dealer, if you don't want to go and see, for example, Haridwar and Rishikesh with that man, he will give you a discount for 50,000 rupees. That is tertiary discount. I fell off my chair. I said, how can we do business like this? Anyway, next. After having issued this circular, that is why I said somebody has lost their sense of balance. The government has withdrawn all the circulars because they are more confused with discount than I am. I have never understood this concept of discount because there are chartered accountants who call it discount even when there is rate difference. There are chartered accountants who call it discount if it is price difference. Chartered accountants call quantity difference as also discount. I am finished. So I am confused. I don't know what it is, but this man is more confused. So he issued one circular, and what he did, he withdrew it. Now all discount fellows are in big trouble. All discount fellows are in big trouble. Whoever followed this, mentally get clear, you are in for scrutiny. Right? So please go and look at your DRC1. Next. Whenever you find time, please read this judgment, but I will tell you what it is. There are at least 100 companies in India. 100 companies in India, and I am making a very bold statement, which invoices warranties. Yes or no? Yes or no? Correct. So you are invoicing warranty, right? At what value is the next? What value? 1 rupee, 100 rupees, selling price, cost price, what price? One of the largest DG set manufacturers in Mumbai. I am giving you a clue. One of the largest DG set manufacturers in Mumbai dispatches warranties on a face value of 1 rupee. You think the commissioner is my grandfather? When you upload GSTR1 showing 1 rupee value, you think he is sleeping there. He is waiting for the elephant to grow fat. He will come at you 3 years later. There are companies which are invoicing warranties at a flat rate of 100 rupees simply because they don't want to reverse input tax credit. How many of you here have checked the warranty schemes of FMCG? Including automobile dealers, including electronic goods dealers, because I am sure each one of you will have at least one number of these files. Some trader you will have. Have you ever checked what this warranty is, what this discount is, what this rate difference is, etc., etc., etc.? I have not seen any of these cases. Now look at this case. What Ultratech did, it said that I will invoice the dealer. This is one of your discount schemes again. One of your discounts. I don't know what this discount is. He invoiced, let us say, 2 tons of cement. And he said, let's discount 2 tons. Value became 0. Government fell down. He did not know what is happening in Ultratech. Then when you went to Ultratech, he said, no, these are schemes which the customer is aware of, that this is an off-take discount. That means, if you have taken 200 tons in the first 3 months, 2 tons I will give you free. So it is an off-take discount. In order to avail the full input tax credit, what they did, they invoiced it 2 tons, they said discount 2 tons. So the government realized it through GSTR 1. Yeah, the government realized this through GSTR 1. And by the time they realized, adequate water had flown. So please be careful of all your discount schemes. Next, you have some Santosh distributors, etc. Now come to, no, this also move, skip. All these are examples. Now what will happen in case of valuation? In case of valuation, for all the examples that I have given you so far, if I am not able to determine the supply price, the law says I will go by open market value. What is open market value? The price at which you sell the goods at or about the same time, having like kind or like quality. You don't have the price of Samsung in Mumbai because you have only one file with you. But the department has 10 Samsung dealers in Mumbai who will be selling the same 42-inch TV on that very same day. On that very same day, he will apply that price for valuation. Therefore, it will be open market valuation that will happen. Parts, I have the declared tariff from the OE, from the original equipment manufacturer. I have the price of spares which are used free in servicing. I will apply that price as the open market value, right? 3, value of like kind, like quality. Sorry, I will apply the monetary value to it. I will apply the monetary value to it, subjective to tax. 3, like kind, like quality. What is like kind, like quality? Like kind, like quality is defined in Rule 35. It says like kind, like quality must be with equal reputation. Please be careful. Equal reputation, equal quantity, comparable performance. Be careful. Equal reputation, right? Equal reputation, comparable performance at or about the same time in equal quantities. So if I don't get Samsung in Mumbai, if I don't get, then what I will do? I will take one Akai. Same performance. If I don't get Samsung mobile, I will take OnePlus 6. If I don't get OnePlus 6, I will take iPhone 6. Equal reputation. You have to come and argue with me saying, no, iPhone is big fellow, has 300 billion cash balance, I am small fellow, I am living on loan. You argue, we will see, come to tribunal, we will see later. So I will put you through this valuation mechanism. You have to be careful. If you are not able to do that, then 110% of cost of production. Cost of production, always a problem. Whether you add selling and distribution, don't add selling and distribution. Whether direct wages, whether indirect wages. Whether managing director's remuneration to be added, not added. Auditor fee to be added, not added. Everything is a problem. So cost of goods sold means I will take the total of trading and P&L account minus profit, divide by produce. That is your cost. Add the highest GP. When your income tax surveys, he says peak credit, right? Peak credit. When he comes to the cash balance, he will say peak credit. So I will say highest price into number of units sold. Next 10 years you will only be fighting. Next 10 years you will only fight. If nothing is possible, that means you go under 44AD, 8% estimation in income tax. Then you know what I will do? Reasonable means I will adopt. Reasonable means consistent with the principles and general provisions. Reasonable means you have to go and meet him in his chamber. Right, next. Open market value is defined. Like kind, like quality is defined. My difficulty is not coming at like kind, like quality in respect of goods. How do you arrive at like kind, like quality in respect of services? Is your fee per hour equal to your neighbor's fee per hour? Why? Both of you passed in the same year, same batch, same 3 groups you had in final. Both of you are working in Andheri East, correct? Your office is the same place. Both of you are eligible only for 5 article clerks. Why not? So in case of service, it is extremely difficult in case of services to determine like kind, like quality. Next, where the consideration is not wholly money, it is partially money. Give me your old iPhone, I will give you a new iPhone, correct? Give me your old TV, I will give you new TV. Give me old gold, I will give you new gold. Give me old jewelry, I will give you new jewelry. Give me 5 kg of old cloth, I will give you 1 kg of new mats. Yes or no? All of this will go through a process of valuation. Importantly, stock transfers will go through a process of valuation, right? Nothing of this is workable. Again, next. This agency transactions is something which I have never been comfortable with. Principal and agent. We have different kinds of agents. We have purchasing commission agent, we have selling commission agent, correct? We have del creditor agent, we have principal to principal transactions, we have agent to principal transactions, we have deemed principal agency transactions. Some of it written, some of it implied, some of it oral. The law says, when you are not able to determine the price between the principal and an agent, or I am dissatisfied with the invoice value at which you are invoicing the agent, then I will take you through a valuation mechanism of like kind, like quality at or about the same time. So you go through a valuation mechanism. One is that, second one 110% cost of goods sold, or third one reasonable means of estimation. Next. I've given you one example of how agency transactions can fail. Please go through that whenever you find the time. Next, value based on cost. This cost of goods sold business is something which is extremely difficult. We will not be in a position to handle these transactions at all, because determining the cost price of a particular product varies from person to person, CA to CA, entity to entity, whether you have to consider advertising costs or no. Whether you have to consider advertising cost only for that product for which you have advertised, or for all products in general, because your company name is displayed in the advertisement, right? So all of these questions you will have to answer. Next. Lottery betting and gambling. Anybody in lottery betting and gambling? If you are not here, I will skip. No, next. What is consideration and what is sole consideration? Because section 15 says, where price is the sole consideration, sole selling agent. We have read this in CA, right? Sole selling agent, single person. That means if price is the sole consideration, no valuation. But if I see samples, if I see discount, if I see marketing expenses, if I see CARO qualification discrepancies, if any are not material and have been dealt with appropriately, if I find deletion in asset, if I find estimates in case of stock adjustments, income tax would have probably conducted on 133 survey, you will agree for 10 crore addition to closing stock. All these cases are valuation. All cases are valuation cases. Please be careful of how you will deal with that. So these two charts will tell you what is consideration, what is sole consideration. Sole consideration is principally money. I should not see any other entry in your books, sample, business promotion, that, this, loss of goods, lost, destroyed, whatever, I shouldn't see. Then I will agree that your balance sheet should be, your outward supplies is in money or money terms. Next. I've taken a few examples here of where there is no monetary consideration. All your FMCG dealers will go through valuation. Don't waste your time. Because he will buy old washing machine, he will give new washing machine, right? One, he will say, give me Godrej, I will give you Godrej. I will give 1,500 discount. Second, he will tell you, if you give me Samsung washing machine, I will give only 500 rupees discount. Because this man is Godrej dealer, correct? So this is the problem. So in all of these cases, you will go through evaluation mechanism. These examples are very, very simple examples that I have given you. Next, what is absence of consideration versus presence of consideration? Take this example of diaries, New Year diaries, right? We give it free. Yes or no? We give it free. So there is absence of consideration. Now what is this? Is it business promotion? Is it advertisement? It is selling and distribution expense. It is marketing expense. It is gift. It is sample. What is it? Where are you booking this expense in your P&L account? Or will you open on miscellaneous expense in that sundry expense? Because we do it. In miscellaneous we have sundry. In sundry we will have other expense. Now look at these transactions. They are subject to valuation. Because I won't consider this as business promotion. I won't consider this as business promotion. I will put you through a valuation mechanism at the end of each year. So there is absence of consideration, you will be subject to valuation. Presence of consideration, I will determine whether it is consideration or sole consideration. Then I will decide to take you through a valuation mechanism. Now take these two examples that I have said. Virat Kohli will sign, for example, whatever some sports company in Mumbai. He will give bat free, pad free, that free, he will put one icon here, right? Who is rendering service to whom? Who is giving cricket bat to whom? Is Virat Kohli rendering the service of an ambassador or an agent of, I don't know, one Nike? Or is Nike giving an opportunity to Virat Kohli to promote Nike brand? Both I will subject to valuation. I will subject both to valuation. Whichever is higher, I will consider that. Whichever is higher. Nike, he puts one tick mark on his t-shirt and he plays, right? So what are you saying? He is a brand ambassador for Nike. I am saying the other way around. Virat Kohli is not the brand ambassador for Nike. Nike is the brand ambassador for Virat Kohli. My valuation mechanism will change. You are getting what I am saying? No. My valuation mechanism will change. Please be careful. Same way, whether it is advertisement or whether it is sponsorship, I will look at your face and decide when you appear before me. If I don't like you, I will say sponsorship. If I like you, I will say it is advertisement. Depends how you make me go through all those decision making. Next, give me 5 minutes, 10 more minutes. I will finish at some stage. Next, discount versus bad debt versus non-monetary consideration. Bad debt, as we all understand, is your 36(1)(7) transaction under Income Tax Act, section 36, subsection 1, clause 7, right? Where you don't get the money, you write it off. Plain and simple case. You originally sold for 100, man has disappeared, or he is given you 50 rupees. Balance 50 is bad debt. This is the position. Correct? You attempted, you have not got the money. There are people who put this 50 rupees as rate difference and claim credit. I want people like you to estimate. There are people who call this rate difference. Please be careful. If your invoice is 1005 rupees, the fellow pays you a check only for 1000. 5 rupees is not rate difference. 5 rupees is not discount. 5 rupees is actually bad debt. It's actually bad debt. Because if it is rate difference, I will tell you to take it to P&L account. I'll tell you to take it to P&L account. Correct? Take it to P&L account. You give it effect in outward supply or sales. Right? Don't take it to P&L account to adjust your GP. Right? So don't do it. So be careful. So rate difference, discount, bad debt and consideration are completely different. All the three will be subject to valuation. If I find bad debts in your account, I will subject you to valuation under goods and service tax law. There may be no impact, but I will look at those transactions. Next. Discounts and bad debts versus consideration. This is an example of the right accounting entry that you should pass insofar as GST is concerned. I am not worried about your income tax and company law. Handle it however you want. Insofar as GST is concerned, I told you how you have to handle this. Next. Look at this example. In Mumbai, we have Cisco, right? We have Cisco in Mumbai. Cisco is paying 1 crore to IIT Mumbai. They're paying 1 crore to IIT Mumbai. Why? To allow their engineers to visit the IIT campuses and sit in their lecture halls. This is all. Who is providing service to whom? Who is the man to pay tax? Whether IIT Powai should pay tax, whether Cisco should pay tax, whether you are an employee of Cisco, you should pay tax. Please tell me. Who is providing service to whom? Is IIT Mumbai providing service to Cisco by allowing you to sit in his class? Or, yes? Sorry? You write this contract however you want. I will tax all the three. However you want, you write. I'll tell you why. I am telling you, please don't feel offended. Because as commissioner, this is exactly what I will do. In this case, the service provider is the IT company to whom? To IIT. What service is providing? By making Cisco engineers go and sit there. So first leg of tax. No, I am commissioner. That is how I will tax you. You are SSC. You go to hell. We'll see later. But this is how it's going to be. IIT Mumbai, what it will do? IIT Mumbai, right? It is receiving the money. If it is receiving the money, it has to render some service. What service it is rendering? It is rendering to Cisco, not to Cisco employee, by allowing Cisco through its employee to sit in IIT lecture classes. So both ways there are service. It will become taxable twice. Next, please go back, read this paper very carefully, you will know what I am saying. Contribution to consideration, party versus sponsorship, right? We'll skip this next, this is the same IIT case. Consider this case. Your BCCI in Mumbai gets something like 10,000 crores per annum. From whom? From Vivo. Correct? Vivo IPL, Sony IPL, whatever IPL, all these IPLs, he gets money. Whether BCCI is rendering service to Sony, then why is BCCI getting money, 10,000 crores? You think he's fool to give? BCCI is receiving money, yes or no? Yes. So who should pay tax? What service he is getting? Even BCCI name will not appear in Sony advertisement. Is Sony, when he puts up the IPL match there, does he say BCCI somewhere in his Sony advertisement? He's got broadcasting rights, that's all. BCCI name is nowhere. So I will subject BCCI to reverse charge, Sony to forward charge. One as advertisement, second as sponsorship. Both I will take 18%. Third, who is the service provider in so far as the public is concerned? You are paying 5,000 rupees for gold box, right? Who is rendering service? Are the cricketers rendering service? Is BCCI rendering service? Is Sony rendering you service? That is the third leg of transaction. Service provided is BCCI in so far as public is concerned. Those two I will levy tax twice. Next. Now this is the way cost of goods sold is arrived at after all this I have put in here. Please look at it. Next. Now valuation mechanism in respect of currency changes. Those of you who hold foreign currency here, if you are going to exchange, your money changer will subject you to tax at the rate of 1% on the exchange difference. There's nothing there. Next. Difference between buying and selling rate. Dollar to euro, euro to yen, yen to I don't know whatever. When you convert foreign currency to foreign currency, the mechanism is slightly different on the gross value. Next. Those of you who deal with travel agents, please be careful. Please be extremely careful of GoIbibo, moneycontrol.com, Mintra, not Mintra, that third, whoever books tickets, make my trip. All of these gentlemen. Now, in so far as Make My Trip is concerned, his taxation mechanism is not this. Indigo will go through this flowchart that I have given you here. Indigo, because Indigo is serving Xavier Rajan. Indigo is not serving Make My Trip. Passenger's name is given in your ticket, right? The service provider is Indigo, service recipient is you. Make My Trip, he'll make 5% in between, or Indigo will tell, you book 1 lakh tickets for me in the whole year in any sector, X is your price. Both transactions are taxable transactions subject to valuation. Both are subject to valuation. Next. Life insurance business I will skip because most of it is exempt. Specific valuation. Huh? Who's speaking? I can't see your, yeah, LIC is it? 3.0, yeah. Yes, of the premium. If it is life, it is exempt. But if it is Keyman insurance and all that, I will, on the first premium, second premium, I will charge you different rates of tax. Be careful. LIC offers not only life insurance. LIC offers money back where if you die, you won't get. You have to live, only then you will get. If you die, you will get back only what you paid. There are several premiums like that. Life is assured, it is exempt. If life is not assured, it is taxable. That's a simple test you apply. Next. Specific valuation cases. Please give me 5 minutes, please. I'll close. Quickly, I'll close. Buying and selling of second-hand goods is, this is called a margin money scheme. Margin money scheme. It's like your 41(2). It's like your 41(2) under income tax law, right? Selling price minus purchase price. Why I have bought in this is look at this provision here. The law still uses purchase and sale. It doesn't use inward supply and outward supply in case of second-hand goods. It doesn't use inward and outward supply. So machinery, please be careful. If you are a trader in used machinery, you could get under the margin money scheme. Please be very careful. Input tax credit you may lose. Next. That is the example I have given. Can I go back? This is the example I have given where in case of repossession, how the taxation system applies. Very simple mechanism, nothing in this. Pure agent. I'll spend 2 minutes on pure agent. Who is a pure agent? A pure agent is a person who receives money on somebody's behalf, spends money on somebody's behalf. As a chartered accountant, we take 1 lakh from our client for company incorporation, right? Yes, we take. 75,000 rupees we give bill voucher. Rest of it other expenses. Correct? It is not fees. Fees we will charge separately. So you are not a pure agent. Entire 1 lakh is taxable. A pure agent is a person who renders service to the recipient and gets reimbursement in rupees and paisa. Xavier sir, if you say 8 rupees per kilometer, you charge your client, I will levy tax. Because you are giving article clerk only Uber charge, which is 40 rupees. Correct? So that 8 rupees I will subject you to tax at 18%. On the contrary, if you are getting a reimbursement of 4 rupees 40 paisa per kilometer, if she or he uses the car as an article clerk, and you reimburse that fully to them, you are a pure agent. A pure agent is a person who renders service and receives money for services rendered. So it must be in rupees and paisa and nothing more. Next. We'll skip this assessable value because that is under old law. Skip. Now valuation for customs. Those of you who handle customs here, customs charges you tax on 110%, right? Correct? 110. So he will calculate the assessable value plus 10%. On that he will say deposit duty, whatever, however you go on taking your credits or getting your refunds, right? Now in so far as IGST is concerned, it is on that valuation that you have to pay IGST. So if your valuation is 110% under customs, you pay IGST on 110%. Next. Warranty. I have discussed enough about warranty, but one last case of warranty I will tell you. Cisco, Rolex, IBM, HP, Britannia, all of them are in Mumbai. What they do, is they don't render warranty supplies. They don't render. They appoint Xavier Rajan as the man who will render warranties for them. So what Xavier Rajan does, you are an importer of record under the customs law. You import the spares, store the spares, supply it to the customer of Cisco, customer of SP, customer of IBM. You don't know whether that supply is on account of AMC, that supply is on account of warranty, that supply is on account of sale of spare. All that IBM will tell you, please supply part number 123 to Godrej in Vikhroli. You will supply that part number, that's all. Do you know whether it is for AMC, warranty, or sale, or supply? You don't know. All these cases pay full tax at 18, 28, 12, whatever rate, although warranties could be business promotion. AMCs could be works contract. You pay tax on the full value, right? Then you will be all right. Next, coupons. Those of you, anybody dealing with coupons here? Anybody dealing with coupons, cashback coupons, Sapna bookstall, Gangaram's bookstall, that, this, coupons, where you have your Lakme beauty salons, where they give you coupons for 30,000? No? Peak rate of 28%. Next. We'll skip this. Now trial runs. Is input tax credit available on trial run? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, who says yes? Lohit bhaiya? अरे दोनों आ गया. Yes, no, all right. Now, in so far as trial run is concerned, if you are able to prove that this trial run is the course or furtherance of business, you would be in a position to get input tax credit. Consider this case. Unilever, those of you who handle Unilever here can go and check. Unilever is doing a trial production of a crystal clear shampoo in Mumbai, meant for supply in European countries. So trial run is here, not meant for supply in India, meant for supply in European countries. No input tax credit. I hope you are getting what I am saying. You got it? So please be careful when you handle these large companies. Next. Coupons and cashback. Next. Please be careful. Samples, warranty. Warranty we did. Next. Samples, coupons and cashback. Next. Trial use or supply. Yes. Those of you who handle test drive cars, please be careful. If you have paid for the test drive, you can avail input tax credit. If you have not paid for the test drive, the OE will be subject to tax. Because these test drive cars, different companies have different schemes. Maruti gives you free of cost for test drive. Hyundai charges you the cost price. Jeep at the selling price. I am very clear in what I am saying. I know all the three businesses, right? Input tax credit, be very careful when you are availing. It depends on the scheme under which you have gone. Next. Stock transfer versus sale on approval. Now, Shopper Stop, please be careful. I am naming the entity. Shopper Stop, West Side, Food World, more. You have all of this in Mumbai, right? All of this in Mumbai, Thane. Please be careful. They have the concept of shop in shop. Correct? You go to West Side, he sells only Tata brands. But you go to Shopper Stop, he will sell you one perfume of some Christian Dior. He will send Stop brand apparel. He will sell Bulchi wallet. He will sell all of this. Please be careful. If they are goods sent on approval, no input tax credit. If they are meant for sale, you will get your tax credit. Please go back and look at your accounting systems in this case. Goods sent for approval. Whether you are treating that as your stock. If you treat that as your stock, show it as stock in trade in your books, then there must be a purchase invoice. You can't raise a purchase invoice on the date of sale or on the 30th of every month. No, wrong. You are getting what I am saying? Please be extremely careful. Next. Theft versus donation. HP Mumbai gives 100 computers, or TCS for that matter, Mumbai gives 100 computers, used computers, as donation to one Mumbai Municipal Corporation school. Please be careful. If it is donation, and if TCS puts its name as donated by TCS, it is taxable. That is the circular they have given. These fellows have no work, they have gone mad. The government has gone mad. They have said if you put TCS name on top of it and donate, then it becomes advertisement and not donation. I hope you are understanding what I am saying. So the government is a crook. Be careful. Next. They have no work. Write-off versus depreciation. Please be careful. Under income tax law, less than 5,000 you will write off. Correct? But 100% depreciation is another case, where in the consumables are written off in the year of purchase, but it has no depreciation. They are written off, but it's not depreciable asset. There is a difference. Be careful. If it is a depreciable asset on which you have claimed 100% depreciation, no ITC. But if you have written off, then you will get input tax credit subject to valuation. Next. Gift versus CSR. Gift, no ITC. Please don't get confused between gift and business promotion. In a gift, there is no reciprocal arrangement. It is one-sided. It is unilateral. It is unilateral. In the case of a business promotion, there is a quid pro quo. I will give you 1 cup of Tropicana and I will tell you, sir, please buy 1 liter. You may not buy is another matter. Correct? But I will tell you, it's there. You please go and buy. Right? So CSR versus gift are two different things. What are valuation issues that we have to be very careful? Like kind, like quality, at or about the same price. How do we identify the price for the services that we render? The last but one here, I will close. Hotel is something which I am very, very serious about. The government has set up a cell in respect of taxation of hotels. 31st December, New Year night in Mumbai, correct? Consider this case, 5,000 rupee cover charge, liquor included, food included, music included, yes, air conditioning included, drop from hotel to home included, Sahara Star, right? 5,000 rupees, Taj Mumbai, only food, liquor extra. Consider a third case, 5,000 rupees, only food, no liquor, music over, 12:30 you have to exit the place. Case 3. Now tell me whether it is supply of food, supply of liquor, it is an entertainment event for a New Year's Eve, it is a mixed supply of food, liquor and services that are rendered, including hotel in Mumbai. Lalit gives you accommodation for one night so that you don't need to drink and go, or whether it is accommodation service. Can anyone tell me what it is? Is it mixed supply is what? Mixed supply is multiple taxable supplies for a single rate. Liquor is outside, so it can't be mixed supply. That is why I gave the example of liquor. Liquor is outside the GST law, right? So it cannot be a mixed supply. It has to be a composite supply. If it is a composite supply, which supply is principal supply? Madam will say, I like the food in Taj. I am going there only for food. Who wants your dance? I don't want your dance. So you will have to tax her at 5%. Xavier will say, no, that rock show by whoever, yaro per solung sir, somebody's name you tell. That rock show by this man, is I like that. Who is interested in food and liquor? So that will become entertainment. Now somebody else here, maybe the lady here will say, I like Lalit Ashok's ambience, therefore I am going there. The fourth one will say, I got a complimentary ticket, I am going. Now these are composite supplies, one of which is a principal supply. The principal supply in all of these cases would be entertainment, taxable at the rate of 18%. For this New Year's Eve, in respect of something else, my opinion can change. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vasai Branch. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. No offense meant. In all the examples that I've taken, if some of them happen to be your client, kindly treat them as examples under law. I have no intent to hurt anybody. The examples that I've given you, if it hurts you, please don't feel bad about it. It's just the passion for what I've taken up, I have done. Thank you, Vasai branch, for this opportunity. Thanks a lot. Thank you.